All right. Well, welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today for our webinar, Modernize Your Service and Field Service Function in Weeks with Salesforce and Astound Digital. This webinar is going to be presented by Bill Donlin and Wes Garlock. Just a couple of housekeeping notes. The chat is open for your comments and questions throughout the session. We will save time at the end of the presentation to do a full Q&A, so please feel free to share your thoughts as we go along. And with that said, I'll kick it over to Bill.
Thank you, Jill, and thank you everyone for joining. Happy to be here with you today, and really proud to be doing this with our service and field service capability leader, Wes Garlock, a guy that I've worked with for a number of years, and is really an expert in the area of service and field service, and instrumental in building out this OSP offer that we are going to talk about. So I'm Bill Donlin. I'm the global CEO of Astound Digital. I'm a 30-year CRM consultant, 20 plus years in the Salesforce ecosystem, along with Wes, a lot of experience in field service and all the leading solutions, IFS, ServiceMax, ServiceNow, and obviously Salesforce Field Service. Wes, why don't you go ahead and say good morning and introduce yourself?
Hi, good morning, everybody. My name is Wes Garlock, as Bill said. I'm the field service capability leader here at Astound. Been doing Salesforce implementations for over 10 years now. Fields focused on field service for about 8 of those. Really here with Astound to make sure from our delivery standpoint, we do the right thing for our customers. We deliver field service and service implementations correctly, and then help our customers move forward to get where they want to be. So, all right,
awesome.
Let's go ahead and jump into it real quick. So just a quick table of contents. So the agenda for today, we've already introduced ourselves, but we're going to go ahead and introduce Astound, as well as the OSP field service solution itself, the capabilities with the solution, details around how we can take what it is and how you can enhance it to meet specific customer needs. We will show a quick demo, and it will be similar, or pretty much an end-to-end process, but it's quick. So that just kind of shows you the efficiency we're looking to bring to our customers with this. And then finally end with kind of an overall, some of the benefits with the solution, and then questions. So yeah, let's go ahead and begin. Again, with you today, Bill Donlin, our global CEO, and then me, Wes Garlock, our capability leader for field service. All yours, Bill.
Yeah. So look, Astound Digital, I've been the CEO here for a year. I brought Wes in pretty early because I knew field service was an area that we wanted to double down on. We're a Salesforce partner, proven partner, good track record. Our legacy is in commerce. We were formerly known as Astound Commerce. We rebranded as Astound Digital this year. We are backed by Salesforce Ventures, and we've got what you would expect from a table stakes standpoint in terms of certifications, people, offshore delivery centers in India, Eastern Europe, and Medellin, Colombia, and our field service capability and focus is really in manufacturing, med tech. You'd be surprised, but even food and beverage, fixing fountain machines and those kinds of things. And then some fringe niche cases using the scheduling engine that Salesforce has in their product, formerly Click, to even do some things that you wouldn't, unnatural kinds of things that you wouldn't even think about as field service, moving labor around, cleaning buildings and stuff. So full service, end-to-end C360 partner of Salesforce. Obviously here today, we're here to talk about field service. We are going to focus the conversation on OSP, and I'll help you understand what that is, and then Wes will give you the details. But we're also happy, as we open up to questions, to take any question about field service in general. We can go to the next slide, please. So when we think about field service and field service modernization, obviously we think about it from, a business standpoint. What are you trying to achieve? Whether it's technician efficiency, It's preventing warranty or labor leakage. Obviously taking advantage of now what you can do, whether, traditional Einstein AI, potentially plugging in third-party AI. Obviously now, we're doing a lot of work around what agents can play, AI agents the role that they can play in both service from the case management standpoint, as well as field service and the work order through debrief. Astound has spent a lot of time building out a set of accelerators and IP. This OSP offering is one of those. And for those of you who don't totally know, OSP is our ability to basically show up and unpack a solution. And Wes is going to take you through the details of that, but it's pre-built. Everything is bundled together in one offering, so we can get to 100% predictability around cost and cash outflow and speed. It's predicated on speed. It's pre-built. We think we have coverage, somewhere in the 80 to 90% of what you need. Obviously, we don't have your data in there. We haven't connected it to your integration points. But feature function, he'll take you through it. It is very robust, and we're able to get this thing installed, up and running in weeks, and then we're able to bundle everything into one price tag, amortize it over, the period of 3 to 5 years, depending on, how much of a commitment our customers want to make. Then you get into all the predictive revenues, cost and cash outflow, and obviously you're not bearing the brunt of a full implementation cost because we're spreading that over, as many customers as we're selling this solution to. So it can be very attractive from a total cost of ownership standpoint, and obviously from a speed standpoint. I think Wes, I'm
Thanks,
turning
Bill.
here. Yep.
Yep. All right. So Bill kind of gave an overview, kind of what the OSP solution is. So let's really get into the details. So what we're providing with our field service OSP solution is really a quick start implementation to cover end-to-end the field service process. It could be done in as little as 5 weeks. So it is a templated solution that we have that we'll bring to our customers, set up and tweak depending on the customer needs. We'll talk a little bit about also identifying anything not included with our solution here in a bit, and really getting them live quickly. Some key aspects to it, right, just to think about and kind of why we wanted to put this together. First off is just efficiency. It's a pre-built template, as I mentioned. It's been tested, it's been used before. We're not starting from scratch. Second, speed to implementation. 5 weeks is quick, and we can do that if it's the base template. So right, you think about implementations take 10 plus weeks at times or even more. This is not that kind of approach. Again, a proven solution. It's been tested, it's been used. There's not the typical headaches of defining user stories, testing them, a typical implementation process. And then kind of two key things about the the solution itself. One, it is built for scalability. Consider it a foundational field service implementation. Bill kind of mentioned 80-90% earlier. Well, it opens up all the possibilities customers could have on the Salesforce platform for their industry, right? Things like the big buzzword Agentforce, allowing to utilize agents in the future. Maybe data cloud or integrations to other systems to pull the data in that supports the field service process. Maybe down the road, preventative or predictive maintenance once we get the assets in Salesforce and we're managing them appropriately. And then also it's flexible. We'll talk about this here in a bit, but the goal for us is we have a base implementation, a base package essentially, but we're working with our customers to understand, are there any gaps? And maybe that 5 weeks becomes 7 or 10, depending on the type of needs, the must-haves our customers have, and we'll make sure that we are prepared to pull those into our project plan along with the 5 weeks to make sure customers get what they need essentially. So Overall, this is kind of a high level overview of the solution itself. I'm going to go ahead and go to the next slide and we can get into a little bit more detail. So first off, just key capabilities, and we'll show a process here of kind of maybe visualize where the process starts and ends. But there's really 6 key components to the OSP solution. One, centralizing asset management. You think about what a CRM is. Well, this is the first step is, hey, let's get our assets in the system. Let's have our accounts and contacts, and let's understand what we're servicing, the customers we're servicing, and really our asset base across our company. The next one, can't have field service without scheduling field techs, field engineers. So really utilizing Salesforce field services automation. So making sure the right technician is scheduled, seeing the calendar, the Gantt, managing our workforce, ensuring on time support for our customers, and everything you could think of. Next one, it really is providing that customer 360 view from a service standpoint. Hey, I have an account, multiple people I work with at that account, seeing all the assets, upcoming work orders, possibly open service issues, really starting to give that view of a customer to support the service organization. Next one, field service mobile. Part of it of the implementation is including the mobile experience for technicians or engineers in the field. I'll actually show that a little bit today in the demo, just to kind of give everybody an idea of what it is. And then the last 2, reporting and analytics, we're going to implement a solution on the Salesforce platform, utilizing that data to provide reports, dashboards, manage the health of the business, seeing how the service organization is doing. And then finally, it is an end-to-end process. We envision it, or not envision, but essentially from a customer needing support all the way to field technician on site, repairing the equipment or something similar, and then closing it out, and then understanding what to bill the customer at the end. So really the kind of 6 key pillars of the solution itself. Now just kind of taking a look at what we mean by the process end to end. Don't want to go into this too much, but really there's 3 personas we targeted. Service agents, hey, they're managing cases and general support for the customer. Dispatchers, they're managing the field needs, right? When we need to actually set up a field visit for a customer, maybe do on-site repairs, inspections, that kind of thing. And then finally, the field service technician or the engineer themselves. Hey, the person that gets scheduled, shows up to the customer or to the customer's site, does the repair, debriefs the work order, and ultimately closes it out, and ensuring the customer's happy at the end of the day, right? So, so really focusing on those 3 personas, and then all the way from, hey, customer needs help, they call into the support line, or they send an email, creating that case, all the way from case to creating the work order for the field service activities, and then debriefing the work order, parts, labor, expenses, and closing the case and work order. So that end-to-end service process, both from a remote support, general customer support with cases, to field activities with field engineers, field technicians, with work orders. So when we say 90% of the process, this is essentially what we mean from a field service and field service standpoint. So let's go ahead and double click just a little bit further. So process view, excuse me. Yeah, so really this is what we mean from covering the process. The next piece, and I mentioned this a little bit earlier about the flexibility. So our OSP solution is, like I said, it is very much a template that is covering kind of the 90% of a customer's process. We see it when we work with our customers, we see very similar thing throughout case and work order, like we just showed across everybody. But a part of that 5 weeks is we realize, hey, customers don't always have, or don't always, it won't always match, right? Sometimes maybe customers need a little bit more help around preventive maintenance, managing their assets maintenance schedules, or maybe they need to integrate with their ERP to pull in accounts. Maybe they want to include knowledge. So as part of that 5 weeks, we actually plan a fit gap analysis with our customers. This is the template, the OSP solution. This is what our customers are looking for. Finding the difference, maybe there's some gaps, understanding the priority of those gaps, and ultimately working with our customers to estimate and replan to include additional capabilities that they may need. So if you think about it, what it's essentially saying is, hey, we're going to take 5 weeks to do the core solution, but maybe there's those extra weeks through the fit gap analysis that we've decided with our customer that we want to add some incremental capabilities. Maybe it extends it to 10 weeks, 7 weeks, but essentially we're planning to have that in-depth conversation with our customer to make sure that the OSP solution captures what they're looking to do in the initial implementation. So like I said, it's really built to be flexible. It's a starting point, get you there quickly. But hey, maybe that last 20-30%, we need to do something a little more specific. And that is planned in the approach with the OSP implementation. All right, I'm gonna keep going here. So now I'm actually gonna jump into my org here, our OSP org, and I'm actually gonna show a quick demo and really across those 3 personas. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a case to show as a service agent, show how those could be managed, how it transfers into a work order. So, hey, this is a dispatcher prepping the work order, ensuring we know what parts you need to bring, what kind of skills are required to schedule a technician, and then ultimately scheduling that work order, and then having a technician pull it up in mobile and really move it through the process. So give me one moment while I switch over. All right. So as of right now, consider me a case, basically a service agent in the system. I'm not going to do email the case here, but it is actually part of the capabilities we would include. I'm going to go ahead and just create a case manually. So let's say a customer calls in and they've identified, hey, excavator 360. So again, depending on the use case, customers may email, maybe they may call, plenty of options. Working with a customer, I've identified the asset. I know what the account and the key contact for that asset and the type of asset it is, and actually where it sits using the location. Let's say talking to the customer, or once the customer calls, first thing we always want to do is go ahead and create a support case, right? General service activities. So I'm going to create one real quick. Customer called. There's definitely a problem. Let's see, new problem. And let's say through talking with a customer, the equipment won't start. So as simple as that, hey, we've now provided our service agents the ability to create and track the case details when a customer calls in. So now we're looking at really a case in Salesforce. So I still have my asset here, that excavator 360, and you'll notice based on that asset, multiple details were pulled in automatically, right? The account, the contact. If I were to all these pop-ups, if I were to click into the account, that customer 360 view, right? I can see my contacts. I can see, if I go to service, I can see the open cases and work orders for that account. But let's go ahead and go back to the case and just kind of work it through the process. First things first, I'm going to set it to in progress. And hey, I may have called the customer, log a call of what I talked to the customer about, right? Talk to customer. Other things, right? Typical, I may leave an internal comment so people looking at this case know what's happening next. Through talking with a customer, I've determined that we actually need someone to go on site. So I'm going to go ahead and drop a case comment. related to that, and we're gonna go create a work order and move it to the field service side. So go ahead and put in the notes. And go ahead and save. So, and again, back to that 360 customer service view, right? Or that customer 360 service view. Everything I do on this case is kind of tracked in the feed. So I have everybody who comes, looks at the case, looks at the account, not only sees what cases are open, they can come and actually view what's happening with the customer. Now throughout the organization, everybody is making sure that knows what's happening with that customer, keeping them happy, right? Well, so agent determined he needs an on-site visit. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and create a work order. And again, depending on the customer, this process may be a little bit different, but going to keep it very simple for now. I'm going to go ahead and so I'm hit new work order. As you can see, the contacts mapped already. The asset is mapped already. I'm going to change this priority to high because talking with the customer, the asset wouldn't start or the equipment wouldn't start. Next key thing for those who haven't seen it before is I'm going to actually select a work type just to show you some of the options we have. So there's some repairers. We also have some maintenance ones in here. With Salesforce Field Service, what a work type essentially, think of it as it is a template for the type of work to be done. So depending, right, a lot of customers will have work types specific to their assets. We've created some example ones: repair, inspection, maintenance. A lot of flexibility around this, but what it does is when I create this work order, it'll actually set up the work order with key details. So when the dispatcher goes to schedule, it helps drive, hey, who I'm going to schedule, when it's going to be scheduled for. So when that appointment happens, the field service tech has everything they need to do it correctly, right? One truck roll essentially. So I'll go ahead and select repair standard here for the work type. And then I'm going to hit save. And what we'll see here is the work order is now created. So work order is created in a real implementation. It could be routed to specific groups depending on how the organization's set up. And now I'm going to kind of switch gears, and as opposed to looking at it from a service agent standpoint, now think of me looking as a dispatcher. Hey, I've received a work order to my group where it's been assigned to me. What do I do as a dispatcher? Well, and then what are some of those key things on the work order that help for me schedule this, as well as the correct technician showing up and repairing it correctly, right? So I'm going to go ahead and set this to in progress. First thing, always do that, right? You'll notice fairly similar view to cases. I still have the feed to see everything that's happening. Few other things though, I'm going to go ahead and change to related, and there's quite a bit to show here. So remember, I chose that repair standard work type. Well, that actually drove quite a few things. First things first, it created a service appointment. So me as a dispatcher, I need to set up that appointment with the customer. Next thing, it actually pulled in, based on the repair standard work type, it actually pulled in what's called a work plan. And think of like a checklist, right? This is really based on a work type. We can assign specific checklists to a work order so that the engineer or the technician that gets scheduled knows what to do. So I pulled in the standard repair work plan, and you can see all the steps included with that plan. And again, when we do the OSP implementation with our customers, these are things we define with you. But just some example, right? When a technician shows up, he needs to notify the customer he's going to start. He needs to do a health and safety check. Maybe it's a guided form through certain questions they have to ask. He needs to do an inspection. He needs to do the repair, make sure to consume the inventory. And then finally, confirm it's successful and notify the customer. So really driving the technician through the repair process. Next thing, it pulled in a skill. So we'll see when I go to schedule, based on that work type, maybe there's certain skills, maybe only certain technicians can be doing certain types of work. And that's what drives us. And then finally, products that are required to actually do the repair. Again, a standard repair may not be the best example, but let's say when you get into like maintenance activities, oil change is a maintenance activity. It's the same oil and same air filter every single time. The OSP solution is built to support that, or those use cases, depending on the customer. All right, so at that point, kind of went through all this. Another thing just to note, based on the asset, I know the address of where this is located. Conveniently, it's located close to me because I'm going to be the technician to do this, but it also pulled into the Dallas service territory. And so one more thing before I get to scheduling though, so this is kind of the work order creation. Now let's go ahead and look at the dispatch console, which a dispatcher would typically use to manage their activities. All right, one second. Let me just make sure I get the right. Okay, I say 31. All right. So again, now this is the dispatch console view for a dispatcher. So as you can see here, I set up 3 different territories for the purposes of this webinar. We got Texas as the top level, and then we got one in Austin, Dallas, and Houston. Dallas has a lot more work, a lot more technicians. And then I'm this one down here. I have a gap this morning. So this dispatcher needs to make sure, or is going to schedule this activity. It's going to make sure based on the skills, the availability, it's going to find the right slot. So I did SA 31 from now earlier, service appointment 31. And a few ways to do this. The one I like to I could easily hit schedule and it'll do it automatically. Just to kind of show everybody what's happening, I'm going to hit the candidates button and it'll actually, again, using those skills, using the availability, using the territory, all that logic. Again, part of the OSP's implementate our solution, right? All that logic going into find the right technician or right engineer to go on site to do the repair. And it actually scores it. So Millen is a little higher. He probably has the parts or something. That's not exactly sure why, but for the time being, I'm going to schedule myself starting at really this morning. So I selected a schedule for myself. And now you can see the service appointment is scheduled on the dispatch console for my user. Also, just a few key things, right? Travel did get pulled in. So based on where I am currently to where that service appointment and work order need to be done. Again, using the address, which ultimately came from the asset. It tags travel, as well as travel to the next appointment. Last thing for kind of and again, there's tons of capabilities around the dispatch console and scheduling, but just wanted to kind of show you base use case, I guess you could say. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and dispatch it. In the world of Salesforce field service, scheduling is tentative, dispatches, hey, it's now on the board, we're sending it to that technician and engineer. So from a dispatcher standpoint, I'm done. And again, this is just one appointment I'm scheduling, but hey, when you get into multiple, right, this whole list could be full. You have the ability, and part of what we implement will give the ability to, hey, select up to 10, 20, 30, plenty, as many as you want, and hit schedule using that scheduling logic to try to find the correct technician based on skills, availability, how close they are routing, things like that. All right. So dispatcher I've scheduled. Now I'm going to flip gears as a technician. So I'm going to stop sharing on this device real quick, and I'm going to share on my mobile device. So give me 1 second. All right. Oh, wrong button. Let's try that one more time. All right. So now get out of Zoom. I'm looking at my screen. First things first. The appointment that was scheduled, I have a little widget showing up, and again, push notifications can show up as well. for our technicians, but based on that scheduling, it comes to their phone. And then I can easily navigate. So let me go ahead and sign in real quick. But shows me, let me refresh. There we go. Shows me where, so if we look here, here's my schedule for today, the West Garlock technician. I have 2 appointments. I have a lunch in the middle. If we look up at the top, I can pull up in a map and see where they are. You can actually see where I am as well. No wonder I got that first appointment. It's right down the road for me. Makes sense. But let's say I had multiple, I can see them through here. I could also, let me take a step back. I could also, I can call, email the contact very easily. I can get directions through Google Maps, Apple Maps. You can even pull in Waze in here if needed. Yeah, so let's go ahead and actually jump into the appointment now, as if a technician, and just kind of show some of the things you can do in the mobile app. So I'm now in the appointment itself. I'm 6 minutes away. There is actually quite a bit here in the mobile app, and I will tell you, Salesforce has done quite a lot of work extending this app, allowing it to be customizable and everything you can think of. It is a very strong app, and it is very capable from a field standpoint. So just a few things to highlight, and I don't want to spend too much time on this. So again, the overview of the work order, I can get directions, the address, the main contact, the excavator 360, I can actually see the past work orders for this asset. I can add labor, which we'll get here in a sec, right? Everything, parts, labor, expenses for a work order, and then generate a service report. At the same time, remember that work plan that gives a checklist of what to do. Well, in the mobile app, now as a technician, I know everything I have to do to complete this work order. And it's simply, right, as I do them, close them out, it tracks it for me. Also, these steps can be extended, right? For example, like the health and safety check, it can be extended to more be a form, right, or a flow, or a lot of options, not just complete. So depending on what work steps make sense, these are the type of things we'd configure for our customer. So I'm on work plans. Next one, I can consume products on the work order. So I'm going to go ahead. These are all the parts in my inventory as a technician. Part of our OSP solution is, hey, implementing technician inventory and the ability to consume. Not a full inventory solution, but at least for a technician to consume, and tracking those details on the work order. Also note, remember the products required earlier, the work type telling me what products I need to bring to do the repair. I can view that from here as a technician as well. So this one needs 1 standard air filter and 30 quarts of oil, right? And I can add all of those once I've done the work. I can add them all to the work order, so they're consumed. That way, when the work order is closed later on, we have visibility into the parts that were used. If I just keep going, and also just note at the bottom, I have the inventory tab. As an engineer, I can view all my trunk stock, right? And that's what we want when field techs are going to do their work. Last few things, if I just keep going, the general details of the work order, I can view the same related details that I saw from the desktop as a technician, or different, depending on what's needed. I still have the feed here, and hey, I can actually send an update to my dispatcher. Maybe I'm missing a part. Maybe I can't get a hold of the owner and he won't unlock the door, right? Collaboration on the work order, which is a key piece with, as everybody knows, with service. And then finally, I can get a view into that site, understand what other assets are on site. Maybe I have some extra time. I can go do another repair. Maybe I should just go do a quick site walk and ensure nothing's off. Well, I have that visibility at my fingertips here as well. So overall, just as a technician, this is kind of where the demo would end, but as you could assume, or as you could envision, right, they would work through the repair, close out the work plan, add the products, add the labor, add expenses, generate the service report, get a signature from a customer, close it out, pass it back to the dispatcher or even maybe the service agent to finalize the work order and case on the back end, and then have all that detail at the end of the process for however we work with our customer for invoicing. Now, the invoicing is not meant to be in Salesforce for the OSP solution, but at least providing that work order detail at the end. So however it's done by customer, that billing and invoicing piece can be taken forward. So, all right, so that's kind of the end of the demo. I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing one more time. I think I did. Awesome. All right, and then pull up my desktop. Cool. So I hope that was at least a little bit informative on some of the things that the OSP solution is supposed to cover, meant to cover, kind of the process involved. And I guess just remember, it can be scaled. We can scale it up to more than just the base solution, depending on what our customers need. Last thing I just want to leave with before we go to questions or anything of that is just kind of the overall of, maybe someone's asking why take on, or why would someone implement a OSP solution over a general implementation where you're going through the whole estimate process and all of that. Right. And then what are some of the benefits for it? First one is it is a foundation implementation. Salesforce's platform, I think everybody knows how strong it is and all the capabilities with asset service lifecycle management, revenue management, manufacturing cloud, sales cloud, AI, Einstein. Well, this OSP solution is meant to get our customers on the platform and end-to-end process quickly. So then they can start thinking about how to leverage those other things that may be future state or kind of in that walk or run state for a customer. The next one, scalability. As I've harped on plenty, it is a base package, but part of the exercise is making sure we cover any gaps that a customer may need. Cost and IT efficiency. It is a template. Obviously, that saves costs because we're not building from scratch, but also it saves IT and business folks time, right? They're not having to spend as much time defining new requirements or working through design or solution or approvals. We're bringing a ready-made solution, put it in your environment, and people can almost start testing immediately. And then finally, future partnerships. It is to get our customers in the ecosystem quickly. Maybe they don't want to do everything all at once. Maybe they want to have a pilot, see how things work. It's to get our customers there so then they can start thinking of bigger and better. So yeah, Bill, did you have anything you wanted to add before we jump to questions?
I think, Wes, you covered it all. Again, to me, as we talk to customers, particularly in the commercial, segment, the other thing is about predictability, right? So you're not showing up and running a big implementation number at somebody. We can get everything kind of bundled together and then spread over a contract period. So, predictability of spend is another, to me, key. Driving down the costs, speeding things up, and then creating predictability around cost, I think are great. And obviously feature function set. And, you took them through kind of the base. We got a flavor of this that's now, kind of beefing up some of the Einstein predictive capabilities. And then we've got a release coming that will, open up to agents, whether it's, start an RMA process for me, start a return, schedule an installation, schedule a technician, using an AI agent, Agentforce agent, if that's something that people want to look at, that's coming as well.
Yep. Good call out, Bill. Awesome. All right. So let's go ahead and go to Q&A. So I think, Jill, how do we want to handle this?
So right now we don't have anything in the chat. So if anybody has a question, please put it through. If not, I think we're good. We got a great job and thank you.
All right.
Awesome. All right. Thank you everyone for joining. Jill, any closing comments?
We will be sending this recording out, so you can feel free to share amongst your colleagues and other clients who may be interested, as well as for you to kind of just circle back and get the information. But we will be sending that out shortly.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Thanks.
Thanks all.
Thank you.